Okay. So hello everyone and welcome to our Panopto Basics webinar. This is our first webinar as we begin our kickoff to our migration to Panopto this fall from Tegrity. So my name is Eric Silva and I'm one of our instructional designers here on our COLT team. And I will be going over this with you today. Before we dive into today's presentation, I wanted to go over a few housekeeping items. Let's see. So today's webinar is scheduled to be about an hour long. It will be recorded, so that recording will be made available to all attendees either later today or by tomorrow. Due to the number of participants that are joining us today, all participants have been muted. However, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to go ahead and type those into the chat box. If you can't see the chat box, if you're in full screen mode within Zoom, you can actually go ahead and press escape, and then you should see a chat bubble icon along the bottom. From there, you should see the chat box pop up, and you can go ahead and type in any of your questions, and we'll go ahead and address those throughout the presentation or well at the end for Q&A. So a little bit for today's agenda, we're going to be talking about how to access Panopto. We'll be discussing how to navigate the new Panopto interface, as well as talking about how to record a video, edit a video, and its new integration within Blackboard and how you can take advantage of that. So before getting into the content itself, I wanted to take a quick look at our Tegrity to Panopto timeline. So some of you may have already seen this in the email that was sent out or probably on our website or through UTRGV Messenger. So at the end of May, all of our Tegrity content is going to be archived and saved. Throughout the summer semester, all faculty and students will have access to Tegrity and Panopto, so it's completely up to you as far as which tool you wanted to use. However, we do start recommending that you use Panopto for all new content created. That way that content will be optimized for Panopto moving forward. At the end of the Summer 1 and Summer 2 semesters, we'll be archiving all of the Tegrity content that's stored within Tegrity. So that'll include all of the lecture videos, all student recordings. If you used it for proctored exams, all of that content will be saved. On August 21st, that will be the last day that Tegrity will be available to our faculty and students. So on that day, we will be going ahead and turning off Tegrity access within Blackboard shells. And then, of course, on fall 2019, that is our scheduled go live for Panopto moving forward with the university as a new supported lecture capture system. And ongoing currently is a request to move your Tegrity videos. So if you do have Tegrity videos that you want migrated over into Panopto, you can go ahead and submit a request on our website, and I'll show you those links later on how you can get to that form. And based on that, we're going to go ahead and start migrating your content from Tegrity into Panopto, and that way you'll be able to use it for the fall semester. So now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and jump into Panopto. That way we can show you how to do this. So similar to Tegrity, the way to access Panopto is going to be through your Blackboard courses. So originally in the original shell, you saw the link for Tegrity classes. Well, now you're going to be seeing a link for Panopto Media. By default, this will be available in your courses. So we've already made that available for all of our Summer 1 and Summer 2 course shells, and that will also be available for fall courses as well. For some reason, if you do not have the Panopto tool enabled in your course, all you would have to do is come up to the plus icon, click on the tool link, and then from this drop-down box, you will now have the option for the Panopto course tool application. From there, you can go ahead and title it as Panopto Media or however you would like, and then you'd be able to do available to your users, and that would access into your course menu. So to go ahead and access Panopto, you would simply click on the Panopto Media tool. Once it loads, this is the new interface on how Panopto will look for video lecture capture within Blackboard. So unlike Tegrity, where it would take you out into a new website, Panopto is fully loaded within Blackboard, so you no longer have to go into a new site. When you first look at this new interface, you'll notice along the top that you'll have a new search bar. That way it allows students and yourself to go ahead and search through content in your course. You'll see a new Create button along the top where it allows you to go ahead and create a new session, as well as upload media. And this is a great tool if you have access to MP3 files, video files. Let's say that you have permission from your publisher or external sites that you want to share with your students. You can actually upload those files natively within Panopto and be able to share those with your students. Additionally, Panopto allows you to create playlists, and through those playlists, you can upload multiple videos, assign them into one playlist, and then share that playlist with your students. So for example, if you have a week 1 folder and you're discussing chapters 1 through 5, you can actually assign those chapters 1 through 5 into that playlist, embed that in Blackboard. So similar to how they would see it within YouTube, and one video would end, the next one would begin, and would work the same way within Panopto. And then right below that, you have your new folder where you can go ahead and organize folders and content within Panopto. Right below that, you'll see all of your assigned folders in your course. By default, an assignments folder will be created. Right below that, you'll see all of your videos that you've uploaded into Panopto. And up here on the right-hand corner, you'll notice some additional icons. So the first icon here is the share icon. So by default, and similar to Tegrity, all of the students in your course automatically have access to Panopto. So here you'll see that it's shared with specific people. So within the creator role, those are going to be anyone that has access to your course as an instructor or as a teaching assistant. So if they have those roles within your courses, they're now able to have access to be able to upload content into Panopto. This is something that works a little bit differently than with Integrity, because Integrity, they had to have an instructor role in order to be able to upload content. Now, if they're enrolled as a TA, they'll be able to assist in uploading content as well. Right below that, it has the viewers. And the viewers are going to be anyone else that's enrolled in your course, whether they're students, course builders, anything like that. So that way they can go ahead and be able to access your course content. A neat thing, however, about Panopto is that now you can invite people to work in your Panopto space. So if you wanted to invite another instructor to either collaborate, add videos, or just to be able to watch the videos in your course without actually giving them full access to your Blackboard shell, you can simply type in their UTRGV email address, and then you can give them can view or can create access. Similarly, it gives you the option if you wanted to provide a link to this folder or to be able to embed it into a third-party site. Right next to that is the folder stats tool. So what's neat about Panopto is that it now gives you more robust analytics. So when your students are watching your videos, you're now able to go back and determine the number of views that each video has, what days they're watching it, how long they're watching it, and it will even give you specific data as far as which users are viewing a video. So you can actually go and click on the link, and once it loads, it'll go ahead and provide you very details as far as when students are viewing it, viewer engagement. So if you actually wanted to see how long your students are viewing a video, if there's a particular point where they're dropping off, all of that is now available to you through the Panopto Analytics. Additionally, it shows the student views. So here you can see my name here that I've seen it 6 times for a total of 3.9 minutes delivered. So this provides you with some more robust analytics. That way you can see how your students are engaging with your content. Are they watching the full video, part of the video, or are they not watching the video at all? So through the new analytics dashboard, you're able to find all of this content. So let me go back. The next tool over is a settings tool. So by clicking on that, that'll open up the folder settings within Panopto. By default, everything is already configured the way you need it to, as far as students having access, things like that. However, it does give you some additional settings if you wanted to change the ordering of the videos or some of the additional publishing settings there as well. It's important to note that within Panopto, there's 2 views. The first view is this embedded frame within your Blackboard course, and you can additionally click on this button on the far right-hand corner, and that's going to open Panopto in a new window. So when you see Panopto in a new window, this is the full editor version of Panopto, and you can see that you have some additional settings here on the side and up at the top. So by default, it's going to bring you into your Panopto course tool, where you'll be able to see the same options of creating videos, creating a webcast, and building out new sessions. When we look at the site navigation, you'll see these tabs along the left. So when you go into your homepage within Panopto, this is going to be the new video library. So unlike Tegrity, where you would have to go into a specific course to view those particular videos, you can actually come onto your Panopto homepage, and through the video library, you'll be able to access featured videos that we've preset for you. So here you've seen with our transition, how to tour the video library, how to record with Panopto for Windows, as well as some of the tools for watching videos. Right below that, you'll also see shared with me. So if another user at the university decides to share a video with you, you'll be able to easily access those right here within Panopto. And then of course, right below that, you'll see what's new. So if you're enrolled as an instructor in multiple courses or as a TA helping another instructor build out a course, you'll be able to quickly see what new videos they've been posted, be able to click on them and access that information. Right below that, you'll see the My Folder tool. So this is a new feature that wasn't previously offered in Tegrity. So before Integrity, if you wanted to create a Tegrity video, it had to be linked to a course. So in certain cases, we may have created a development course for you or a sandbox shell. That way you can go ahead and play with Tegrity, check out some of the new tools. So now with Panopto, you actually have a My Folder. So this folder is not linked to any course. It's linked just to your particular user account. So this is your space where you can go ahead and create new videos if you wanted to test things out. If you wanted to create a video in preparation for an upcoming course that may not already be created in Blackboard, you can actually create all of that content here within the My folder. And very similar to the course folders, you'll have access to analytics, the settings, and be able to create the same type of media tools within this folder. Right below that is a shared with me link. That's similar to what was on the Panopto homepage. It just gives you another view on viewing the different items that have been shared with you. In this case, if they've been shared with the folder, you'll actually see the folder name, which will be the equivalent of the course name in Blackboard here listed. So you can see the course ID along with the course name. Right below that is the everything folder. So this pretty much brings everything together that you have access to in one easy place to find. So you will be able to see things that are in your My folder, things that you've shared in other folders that you have access to, as well as seeing content that other faculty have shared with you. So this is very similar to your one-stop shop as far as all content within Panopto. And of course, you have additional tools up here if you wanted to change the view to see a thumbnail view similar to YouTube, or if you wanted to sort it by name or duration, or even by date when it was created. Right below this is the bookmark tool. So similar to Integrity, where you have the ability to go in and add in bookmarks in certain spots of a video to go back for later, this bookmark page actually brings all of that into this one page. So in this case, you can see that in this session, I created a bookmark at 38 seconds to edit last year's syllabus. So instead of having to remember where you created bookmarks or where you wanted to go back to, this bookmark tab will contain all of that information. Right below that, you'll see the Browse tab. And this Browse tab will basically show you all folders that you have access to within Panopto. So by default, you'll see some new Getting Started with Panopto tips. You'll see some education showcase videos on different ways that you're able to incorporate Panopto in your courses. And then you'll also see this default folder. So when you expand this default folder, it's actually going to give you a list of all of the courses you have access to within Blackboard. So from there, you can easily go and navigate to a specific course, and you'll be able to see the content within that particular course. And since you have access within these as well, you'll also have the ability to move content, to copy content easily here by dragging and dropping into these particular folders. So this is the interface as far as how Panopto looks like to navigate it. To actually access a video, you can simply click on the course title, and that'll open up a new tab with the new interface. So you can see that it's somewhat similar to the Integrity interface in that it contains the key components such as the instructor video and the primary content. You'll notice on the left-hand side, this is going to be the new instructor feed, the instructor video format. So if you decide to enable video on your recording, you'll notice that that recording will appear here on the left-hand side. This is also known as the primary content within Panopto. On the right-hand side, this is also called the secondary content. And this secondary content will contain any additional content that you're recording on your desktop. So if you're doing a screencast, this will show your desktop. If you're recording a PowerPoint, it'll show your PowerPoint slides. There's also several new tools and features that are built into Panopto. So if you wanted to add in quizzes to your videos, the quizzes would appear here as well as if you wanted to integrate YouTube videos or websites. And all of that can be added here within Panopto. Right below that, you'll see that their captioning will now appear towards the bottom. And then you'll see some additional player tools. Similar to Integrity, you can have the ability to jump back 10 seconds, add closed captioning, adjust the speeds between regular to 2 times the speed, as well as adjust the video quality. Below that, you'll go ahead and see the thumbnails. And Panopto does a lot better job at aligning the thumbnails with the slides when you're presenting. So you'll be able to quickly identify and jump to those particular slides along the bottom. When you look at the top right below the instructor video, you'll see a new tool called Search This Recording. And what Search This Recording does, it now allows students to go ahead and search for content within the video. But one of the neat things about Panopto is that it not only searches the captions and the audio that you're speaking, but it also indexes the content of your slides. So in this video, we can go ahead and search for the word cash, and we'll see that it's going to give us a list of all of the times the word cash was used in a particular slide, as well as the number of times cash was used in the audio captioning that the instructor had made. So by doing this, students can now go through your content and more quickly identify, let's say, a particular topic that they wanted to go back and review by viewing this information here. And then here they also get additional options to search by all, just for contents, captions, discussions, as well as by relevance and by time as well. This area below it is an additional area within Panopto too. You'll notice that you can now add a description to your video if you want to provide more context to your students. And then below that, you'll see a table of contents. What's neat about this table of contents is that it actually aligns with the thumbnails along the bottom. So if you click on a particular link, it's going to jump you to that portion of the video. The same will work if you're recording a PowerPoint presentation. Each slide will actually receive a new table of contents item where students will be able to jump to that information. You'll see right here where this contains a little check mark. This is because this particular slide has has a quiz question enabled. So this also lets students know that when they're watching a particular video, when a quiz question will be coming up. From there, they'll go ahead and be able to answer it and click on finish. In this case, they'll be able to see their answer as well as be able to retake it or review it. Right below that tool is the captioning tool. So now students have the ability to view the captions in line with their video, or they can actually watch it as they're reviewing the video. So as the video continues, you'll see that the little gray bar moves and continues. So that way students can choose the best way that they want to review the material. Right below that is the discussion tool. So this is a tool that you can enable within your videos to allow students to discuss content with each other. So for example, if you upload a video and you want to have your students the ability to ask each other questions, they can go ahead and ask questions here. They can simply type in their question, select enter, and then either yourself or any other student in the course has the ability to go back and reply. Right below that is the notes tool. So this discussion is going to be public within everyone within your course. The notes tool is going to be specific to your user account. So if a student was watching a video and they wanted to go ahead and make some notes as they're watching the video, they can actually go ahead and make their notes, tap enter, and it's going to go ahead and timestamp their notes as they're watching the video. They do have the ability to make it public if they decide to share their notes with their classmates. And if they are working in groups, they can even create a separate channel. And let's say all group 1 members want to collaborate on this video, they can go ahead and join that channel and they can share all of their notes with each other. Right below that is the bookmarks tool. So this is what we had mentioned earlier on that main page within Panopto where it adds all of their bookmarks. So you can go ahead and type in, let's say, need to review. And they can mark it. It has now been marked at the 1 minute, 23-second mark. So when a student comes back into their bookmarked area, they'll now see that item and that bookmark. So that way it makes it much more easier for students to go and to be able to interact with their content and identify if there's areas that they need to go back. Let's see, there was one question that was asking about the captioning, how accurate it was. So captioning is between 80 to 90% accurate through the automatic captioning within Panopto. It's actually later on that we'll be discussing how to add the automatic captioning. One of the things we always recommend when using those tools is to go back and to review the captioning, because there are certain times that you may be using vocabulary that's specific to your discipline that may not be easily acknowledged by Panopto, or they may not spell it correctly. So while Panopto will do automatic captioning, we always recommend that you go back and you review that for accuracy. Let's see. So that's the last of it here within the actual area within Panopto, or within the Panopto viewer. And then as you can see here, students also have the ability, if they wanted to switch screens depending on what's being shown, or being able to go into a full screen mode. So next up, we're going to go ahead and talk about how to create a recording within Panopto. Let's see, can you caption handwritten in OneNote? If it's in OneNote, the app, yes, it won't capture the contents of OneNote, but you can still be able to go ahead and do the screen recording to be able to get that content. Right now, it's only built in with PowerPoint and Keynote, where it's able to actually go and index that material that's within the slides. And when I show you how to create a recording, I'm actually going to show where it's an additional setting that you have to enable in order to be able to use that indexing feature. So when we come back into Blackboard, you can see we can click on the Create button, and then we can go ahead and click on to create a new session. Here it'll ask you to go ahead and open the recorder if you have not already installed it on your computer, or it'll give you the option to download Panopto. And depending on which version you're using, if you're on a Windows computer, Windows 10, Windows 7, or on a Mac, it's automatically going to give you the download tool that's best for your computer. So once you click on that, it's going to open up the new Panopto recorder. One of the first things you'll notice that it'll do is automatically going to single sign on you into Panopto. So you won't have to authenticate again. By chance, if you're logging into Panopto without going through Blackboard, you're able to sign on through your UTRGV credentials by clicking on the Blackboard link when it gives you the option to sign in. So when you look at the Panopto recorder, very similarly to the Integrity recorder, the first thing you'll notice is that it'll give you the option to select your folder. So unlike Tegrity, where it referred to classes as classes, Panopto now refers to as the courses as folders. So when you open it up through Blackboard, it's automatically going to set that default folder of where you were locating from. However, if you wanted to go and save it to a different course, you can click on the drop-down box, and it's going to list your quick access courses, which those are the 4 most recent folders you've accessed, or you can go ahead and select all folders and be able to select which course that you have access to within Blackboard. Right below that, you can go ahead and rename it. Similar to Tegrity, it goes ahead and puts the date and time, but we can change that to, let's say, Chapter 1 Overview. That way, it'll keep that title. Right here on the first top left, you're going to see it's the primary sources. So the primary sources are going to be that content that we mentioned that's located on the top left-hand corner. So with the video option, you have the option to select, and then you can go ahead and select your webcam. Similar to Tegrity, if you choose to not share your webcam, you can go ahead and disable that as well. Right below that, you'll be able to select your audio source. So you have multiple microphones on your computer, you'll be able to identify those. And then you can even do your testing here as well to determine the best audio volume that you need for your course or for that particular video. Right below that, it gives you the quality controls. By default, it picks standard, but you also have the ability to do high and ultra. And basically what that'll do is that'll make your videos HD. So depending on the type of content that you're sharing with your students, if they're going to be advanced screen captures, such as, let's say, like a how-to video or some type of screencast where it's that they need to see every particular detail, you're able to go ahead and adjust that setting. One of the cool new features with Panopto is that it now gives you the option to capture computer audio. So previously, if you were recording a Tegrity video and you wanted to show your students a YouTube video or some type of clip with audio, you kind of had to go around it by turning your speakers on very loud and then putting your microphone very close to those speakers so that it'll be able to capture it. Now all you have to do is click on this button, and if you play a YouTube video, a video on, let's say, any website, Windows Movie Maker, media player, Panopto's automatically going to go ahead and collect that video or that audio. Right below that, you have your secondary sources. So here's that option where I mentioned earlier where you can enable the ability to capture a PowerPoint. And what that's going to do is that it's going to open up PowerPoint, and once you go into full screen mode and presentation mode, it's going to start indexing of when you move to a new slide. So that's how it's going to be able to build out that table of contents to know exactly when you're transitioning to a new slide. You'll also see how it gives you the option that says PowerPoint is open, but it's not currently presenting, and it's to start presenting when recording starts. So when you enable this tool, what Panopto is going to go ahead and do is that it's going to put your presentation in full screen mode and then start recording. So usually in Tegrity, when you would start a recording and then open up your presentation, there was maybe 5 to 10 seconds where your students were seeing your desktop while you were navigating and minimizing the Tegrity recorder and opening up Panopto or opening up Tegrity. Well, now you can go ahead and check that option, and as soon as you hit record, Microsoft PowerPoint is automatically going to open up full screen and it'll start recording at that particular moment. Additionally, you also have the ability to record your screens. So you can come up here onto main screen, and it'll give you the option to enable screen preview. So by doing that, it's going to give you a preview of which screen that you're working on. So if you have multiple monitors connected onto your computer and you want to verify which screen you're using, you can easily go ahead and click on this option. It also gives the ability to add additional video sources. So at your particular computer, if you have a .cam installed or some other video type source connected to your computer, Panopto can actually easily integrate into that. So let's say you're a math instructor and you're using a .cam to be able to provide examples to your students. If that .cam is connected to your computer, you will actually see that as an additional tool here, where you can go ahead and enable it, and that'll provide a much crisper view for your students when viewing that particular information. Right below that, you'll see the option for resolution and some additional video settings. Usually by default, you can leave these alone. However, like I mentioned earlier, if you're going to be showing your students YouTube videos or some type of video where it's very crucial to detail as far as what you're doing and you don't want it pixelated at all, you can go ahead and increase your frames per second. And what that'll do is that'll increase your file size. And by doing that, that's going to raise the resolution of your screen quality. So that way it'll be more higher quality for your students when they're going back and viewing your videos. So up here along the top under Manage Recordings, this is similar to what Tegrity had as check the status, check the queue of your uploaded videos. So here it'll show all of your uploaded recordings, and then right above that, it'll give any other pending recording that needs to be uploaded. One of the cool new features with Panopto is that it actually records, as you're recording your lecture video, it's uploading that into the Panopto service. So previously with Tegrity, you would have to record your entire video, finish it, upload it to Tegrity, and then you had to wait for it to finish processing and uploading. Now what Panopto does is that as you're recording your video, it's incrementally uploading that into the Panopto service. So by the time you finish your recording, you won't have to wait as long before you're able to turn off the computer and let's say another instructor is trying to use the system. So that's going to greatly cut down on that. The next tab over is a settings tab, and it just provides some additional settings as far as where you wanted to save it. Panopto also integrates into Skype for Business and GoToMeeting. So if you wanted to record those, have your recordings in Skype for Business uploaded into Panopto, you can go ahead and upload those as well. And here you'll even see the option where it says progressively upload while recording. If you wanted Panopto to automatically minimize as soon as you click record, you have that ability to do that here as well. So once you do that, and I can go ahead and create a sample recording here. So we can go ahead and click record. You'll see that it gives you all of the little alerts that it's connecting, and then it go ahead and give you recording and it starts your timer. At any point, if you wanted to go ahead and pause your recording, you can simply come back into pause and it'll pause your video. You'll notice that the timer is still going because in the background, that's how it's keeping track of your video. However, once you click on resume, it'll go ahead and continue as well. So even though the timer continues to go, the video did stop recording. It's just that in that particular session, it was active during that time. Once you're done with your video, you can go ahead and click on stop. And then it's going to tell you recording complete, and it's going to give you the opportunity to rename your session. So let's say, for example, you started your recording, but you forgot to change the title and it still gives the date and time. You can go ahead and change that here, as well as add in an additional description for your students. Once you're done, you can go ahead and click on upload, and then you'll see where it takes you to currently uploaded recordings, and then it shows you your uploaded speed. So there, once it's been added to your uploaded recordings, we can come back into Panopto and refresh. And we should now see it listed in the background that it's processing. So now that it's processing, similar to Tegrity, it'll take a little while for it to process your audio, your video, before you'll be able to access that particular session. And it'll also give you this little processing counter, so that way you'll know when it's available and to be ready for your students. The same thing, of course, is that as soon as it's done processing, you'll also receive a confirmation email letting you know that it's available and that if you needed to make any edits or add any quiz questions, you're able to go in there as well. Let me see here. So next, we're going to be talking about how to edit a video. So when you're within Panopto, you can simply hover over your mouse over any particular video, and you're going to notice these additional items. So the settings is going to open the particular settings for that video. If you wanted to go ahead and rename it, at this point, you can go ahead and rename it and click on save. If you wanted to move it to a different folder, let's say if you wanted to customize your content and provide custom thumbnails, you're able to go ahead and do that here as well as providing video links and a whole bunch of other settings as well. And here you can even see where it'll list for your quiz results that you can go ahead and access. So to go ahead and create your video, or sorry, to edit your video, you can hover your mouse and click on the edit icon. That'll open up the Panopto editor in a new tab. So very similar to how the Panopto viewer looks, it also has the same view in the editor. One of the things you'll notice right away is the timeline along the bottom. So this is where you're going to see where it's divided up by your primary video, which is typically you're going to be your instructor video, as well as any secondary video. So in this case, it shows two because the screen was being recorded, as well as the slide deck was also uploaded as well. So one of the most common edits faculty make is to be able to trim a video. So let's say you started a recording and then the class ended and now you're having a conversation with a student that ended up accidentally being recorded and you don't want to release that to your students. All you would have to do is click on this little scissors icon, and easy as 1, 2, 3, just go ahead and select the area you want to take out. And as easy as that, you can go ahead and adjust to that particular area. If you want to be very specific, it does give you the little magnifying glass where you can go ahead and zoom in just to be sure that you hit the right spot that you want to go ahead and remove. Let's say it was an accident and you no longer want to have that removed, you can simply go ahead and drag it out and it'll get removed. The same thing can be done at any point within the video. In this case, since there's two slides or two secondary sources, it gives you the ability to just take out one and not the other, or you can go ahead and remove everything altogether. Then we can go ahead and slide those out to remove those. The plus icon allows you the ability to add additional streams. So this is if you wanted to upload additional videos into this Panopto session. If you wanted to add clips from other Panopto videos you've already recorded, as well as adding quiz questions, YouTube videos, and web pages. So with YouTube videos and web pages, it actually embeds them within the secondary content window. So if you're giving your class a presentation and you wanted to reference a particular YouTube video, rather than providing them the link for them to view at their own time, you can simply integrate that YouTube video within the presentation and direct your students, okay, take 5 minutes to watch the following YouTube video, and then go ahead and continue on with the presentation. And what Panopto is going to go ahead and do is that it's going to timestamp it at the exact point where you want them to watch that video. So as soon as the video ends, it'll go ahead and continue on with the presentation. Up here on the left-hand side, it keeps the same design, but you're able to simply click inside and edit your table of contents as well as your description. If you wanted to add additional items to your table of contents, you can simply click inside here, go ahead and under enter a table of contents entry, you can go ahead and type in your item, click on enter, and that's going to go ahead and add that new item into your table of contents. So it's very easy to go ahead and add, edit, and remove. And then even here, you can click on the 3 dots to edit or delete that particular item. The same thing occurs with the captioning. So when captioning, in this case, the automatic captions were already enabled, but you can simply click on import captions. Right now it says upload or request captions, but you would also see an additional option that says import automatic captions. The automatic captions, it varies depending how long your video is. It sometimes may take up to an hour, it may sometimes take up to half a day, just depending on the length of your video and the time that Panopto needs to go ahead to analyze that data. But once they're available, you can quickly click on import automatic captions, and you'll see that it's going to go ahead and fill out the caption transcript. One of the neat things is that it makes it very easy to go ahead and adjust the captions. So let's say you're at minute 38 and you wanted to go ahead, and that was actually not 10, that was 8. So you can simply come inside, click on 10, make the modification for 8, oops, and click out, and then Panopto is automatically going to go ahead and save that. The same thing with your slide deck. So once you enable to capture the Panopto PowerPoint, it's automatically going to bring in your slide deck, because this is where it's going to go ahead and start indexing your content, as well as being able to identify those particular PowerPoint slides. So here you can see where these slides are tagged at minute 0, 51 seconds, and 1 minute and 43 seconds, because those were the particular portions that they were used in the video. As an instructor, you also have the ability to come and click inside and add in additional PowerPoint slides. So that way they're always in sync with what you're presenting on the screen. Right below that, you have the quizzes tool. So this is where you would want to go ahead and add in any type of quiz question. So you can simply click on add a quiz. It'll load up the interface. And then you can go ahead and add in your multiple choice, true, false, or multiple selection question. From here, you'll be able to title it, provide your question, your answers, and go ahead and click on done. And then here it provides you some additional steps as far as allowing students to retake the quiz if you wanted to show them the grade, etc. And in a little bit, when we discuss the Blackboard integration, I'll go ahead and show you how this actually integrates into Blackboard. So it's not just a tool where students are checking for understanding within the Panopto video itself, it actually integrates into Blackboard. So when a student is viewing the video and taking the quiz questions, those grades can actually be pushed back into the Blackboard Grade Center and be used however way you want to use them. And then right below here are cuts and streams. Those are similar if you're adding additional videos, or cuts if you wanted to incorporate clips from other Panopto videos that you may have created. So once you're done making all of your edits and you wanted to go back and preview them before making them live to your students, you can go ahead and click on this preview icon on the right-hand side. And what this is going to do is that it's going to take you into preview mode and show all of the additional changes that you've made before making them live to your students. So this is very similar to student preview mode. So this way you can go ahead, test it out, see if you like the changes that you made. If you didn't, you can go ahead and click on timeline and it'll bring you back into the Panopto editor. Let's say by chance you made some changes and you realize that you do not want to make them anymore. When you come up on the top right-hand corner, it gives you the options to undo, which will do, it's very similar to Microsoft Word, undo the last item that you've made. It also gives you the option to publish it or to revert it. So if you want to completely undo all of the changes you made in this particular session, you can go ahead and click on revert. It's going to ask you if you're sure if you want to discard all of your changes, and you can go ahead and click on OK. And what Panopto will go ahead and do is that any changes you've made since the last time it's been published, it'll go ahead and remove those. At that point, once you're ready, you would be able to go ahead and click on publish, and that'll go ahead and publish those changes to your students. Depending on the number of changes that you're making, the video may be done within a few minutes, or it may take 5 to 10 minutes, depending if you made more in-depth changes to the trimming and things like that. So that pretty much covers the basics of editing videos. So when we come back into Blackboard, Panopto is much more easier to use within Blackboard than it was with Integrity. Because previously with Integrity, if you wanted to go ahead and embed a Panopto Integrity video, you had to enter in Panopto, access the recording tasks, go into recording properties, make the link publicly available, grab the HTML code, go back into Blackboard, HTML, and you know the rest. Now with Panopto, you can go into any content area within Blackboard, and it is now natively embedded within Blackboard. So if you wanted to go ahead and embed a video within your course, you can simply come up to Build Content and click on Panopto Video Embed. By clicking on this, it's going to bring you up a list of all of the Panopto videos within your particular course. From here, you can click on Chapter 1 Overview, click on Insert, and easy as that, the Panopto video has been added to the bottom of your course menu. The same thing can be done if you wanted to add in a Panopto quiz link. You can enable a Panopto quiz. We can go ahead and title it, let's say, as our Chapter 1 quiz. You can go ahead and title it as the number of possible points you want it to have. You can click on Submit. And what all you would have to do is click on the link again. So similar if you're familiar with TK20 where you have to create the tool link and then go back and assign it, you would do the very same with Panopto. So you would go ahead and click on the link, click on Chapter 1 Overview, and this one's going to go ahead and assign that Panopto link to this video. Click on Insert, and now that video is linked. So when students go ahead and try to take their quiz, they'll be able to click on the link, take their quiz, and that grade will actually be pushed back into Blackboard. When we come back, we also have the option under Tools. So let's say if you did not want to actually embed the video within your course, but you just wanted to provide the link within, let's say, your week 1 modules, you can actually go ahead and come under Tools, click on Panopto Video Link. It's similar to the previous experience. It's going to go ahead and ask you to select your folder. So you'll go ahead and select your course. It's going to ask you to select your lecture video. We'll go ahead and do Chapter 1 Overview, and then we can add our additional descriptions. We can say, go ahead and please review the video. We can click on Submit, and we'll go ahead and click on OK. And then Panopto is automatically going to go ahead and add that video link under the Chapter 1 Overview. So students will be able to click on that, and it'll open them out into a new tab where they'll be able to watch that video. The last thing that also has integrated into Blackboard is that it's much easier to do student submissions within Panopto. So before, students would have to go into Integrity, go into student recordings, upload the recording, grab the link, come back into the assignment area, paste the link for you to be able to grade it. Now you can simply come into assessments. You're going to go ahead and create a standard assignment. We can go ahead and title it, let's say, Chapter 1 Quiz. Under mashups now is that under your instructions area, you're going to select on mashups, and then you're going to do Panopto student video submission. And what this is going to do is that Panopto is going to pre-populate the instructions for students on how to submit their video. So you can go ahead and leave this the same. Go ahead and type in any additional instructions you want to provide to your students. You can go ahead and select the due date, the number of possible points. Very similar to a standard assignment, you still have all of the other features available. So if you wanted to have your students attach their video that they recorded, let's say along with their PowerPoint or a Word document or anything else, you can do that all within this Panopto assignment tool. So once you're done, you would click on Submit. And it's similar to a regular assignment that now becomes available to the students. So they can go ahead and click on it, and then it'll give them the instructions to say, prepare your video in your video library, click on this link to navigate to your personal folder. And that way, once the students are ready to submit, they can come and click on Write Submission, Panopto Student Video Submission. Since in this case I'm enrolled as an instructor, it automatically populates these instructions. But on the student end, when they click on Student Video Submission, it's actually going to give them the same experience that we had earlier, where all they would have to do is go ahead and select their video, click on Insert, and it's automatically going to embed that within Blackboard, and all they have to do is submit. So from that point, you as an instructor are able to view the video in line within needs grading, where you would have your rubric and everything set up within Blackboard. And since these are linked to your courses, you don't have to worry about permissions if the student selected unlisted, public, private, if they're using OneDrive. If they're uploading it into your course and into the assignments tool, which is the default area when students are recording, those are automatically going to be shared with you. So you don't have to worry about students accidentally deleting or anything like that. Another tool that we have enabled within Blackboard, and this one aligns for support, is at any time that you're within the Panopto Media tool, and you go ahead and you realize that you need assistance in, let's say, learning how to upload a recording or view any type of support documentation, you can quickly click on our support help desk question mark over here, and it's automatically going to bring you to our support center for Panopto. So we've already gone ahead and loaded in all of the Panopto how-to videos. So if you wanted to watch a video on how to view a video, you can come and click on here, and it's going to load that video in line within Blackboard. The same thing if you wanted to access some of our faculty help support tools. You can access faculty support, and that's going to give you all of our instructions, such as the different items, how to upload assignments, how to create videos, more in-depth documentation, as well as if you're wondering on how to request your content to be migrated from Tegrity into Panopto, you can actually click on Request Tegrity Videos to be copied, and then you go ahead and click on Tegrity to Panopto Migration Request, and that's actually going to take you to the form on our website where you'll be able to go ahead and fill this information out, and then our team will go ahead and begin migrating your content over into Panopto to be used in the fall semester. Let me see here. So that pretty much covers it all within the hands-on portion within Blackboard. So let me jump back into our PowerPoint here. Like we mentioned, if you have any questions on how to learn how to use Panopto, you can go ahead and visit our support portal within Blackboard. You can go ahead and visit our website at utrgv.edu/online. Be able to view all of our help documentations. We're also providing links to webinars that are going to be conducted both by our office as well as Panopto. So through that faculty help support tab within Blackboard, within the support portal, we'll also be linking to upcoming webinars that Panopto is hosting. And through there, you'll be able to access some more basic and advanced webinars as well. So that's pretty much all we had covered today as far as how to record videos, how to use the interface, how to edit a video. So at this time, I'll open it up if there's any questions that any of you may have on how to use Panopto or questions about our migration. I looked at the chat and I think we addressed most of the questions in the chat. But if any of you have any additional questions at this time, we can go ahead and answer those. So the question was, what will we cover in the advanced session? So the advanced session is going to look more into the specifics of creating those quizzes within Blackboard, how to do more of the advanced editing tools within Panopto, adding in additional streams, things like that. So it's good. So right now I provide a very high overview of some of the cool things you can do within Panopto, but those advanced sessions are going to be going to more in-depth, on how to do those types of things. Looks like fun. I definitely agree. There's a lot more cool features and tools that are coming with Panopto that we previously didn't have access to in Tegrity. So it's a lot of fun of all of the cool things that we can do as a department, as a university. So how soon will the recording for this session be available? So it should be available by the end of today or at the latest tomorrow. Do we currently have access? Yes. So we've already enabled Panopto across Blackboard. So if you're teaching in Summer 1, Summer 2, the Panopto has already been available in your course. If you have a sandbox course that you're currently using, like I mentioned earlier, you can simply come into the plus sign, click on Add Tool Link, and enable the Panopto course application. And what that's going to do is that's going to go ahead and automatically add in the link for Panopto where you'll be able to add in this Panopto content. It may ask you to provision a course, but all that's easy. All you would have to do is click a one-click configure and add to Panopto, and then you'll be given access to Panopto. So that's already available to all of our faculty across Blackboard. Let's see, you mentioned that students can create a channel to discuss the video. If students do, does the instructor have access to their channel? Yes, so as an instructor, once you go into their discussion area, you'll be able to see all of the discussion threads or all the discussion channels that are available in a drop-down box, and then you'll be able to interchange to see the different discussion that's going on amongst your students. What is the format of recorded videos? So there's different ways that you can record them. I'm assuming if you mean to archive them. So if you come into the settings of a particular video, I believe, let's see here, it's under outputs. You can have the option to download a video podcast. So what that's going to do, that's going to download an MP4 file of the video. And then it also gives you additional settings if you wanted to do picture-in-picture, just a primary display, just a secondary display. And that'll go ahead and provide an MP4 of that particular file. If you're looking just for an audio file, let's say for an audio podcast, that's available down here as well. And that'll just include purely audio, and that'll generate an MP3 file. If you're asking as far as what videos you can upload into Panopto, Those are going to be your standard videos. So if it's an MP4, WMV, MP3, WAV files, all of those are going to be compatible to upload into Panopto. When setting up a course, can we come in for some one-on-one? Definitely. So if you have any more questions as far as how to record a specific video, if you have some ideas already on things that you want implemented into Panopto, you're more than welcome to drop on by our office. If you're not sure where we're located in Edinburgh, we're at the Education Building in room 2.202. And here in Brownsville, we're located at the dorms at Casa Bella in room 613 and 614. So you're definitely more than welcome to come on by and we can chat more about Panopto. Let's see, if I record my lecture in Panopto, will Panopto switch between the projector camera and computer screen automatically, or do I have to switch that manually? That is a good question. We have not tried that between the projector camera and the computer screen. Ideally, when you record it in Panopto, those will both be selected as secondary sources. So if they're both connected to the computer, they're going to be able to record that in Panopto. We would have to double check to see how that works, how you currently use that with Integrity, and how we can set that up in Panopto. It also gives you the option within the editor to be able to select what you want displayed on that secondary display. So even if it's recording both streams, we can go back and choose to say, for minute 1 through 5, show, let's say, the projector camera, but then for minute 5 and on, only show the computer screen. So there's some additional settings in the Panopto editor that also allows us to do that. But we would have to see as far as on the fly when you're giving a lecture on how that would work out. Can Panopto record what is on the instructor's computer screen? Yes. So by default, it'll do your computer screen. When you go into the Panopto editor, and I can show you here, it gives you capture main screen, second screen, and PowerPoint. If you're not using a PowerPoint, you don't have to enable that tool. You can simply click capture main screen and go ahead and enable that. It'll be purely a screencast of what's ever on your monitor. The same thing works if you're using an iOS device. With the screen recording tool on iOS, you can actually go ahead and do annotations and things like that on your iPad, and then have those uploaded directly into Panopto through the Panopto app that's available both on iOS and on Android. Can students download the videos? Is this a setting? Let's see, it is. So that first question, yes, it is possible. By default, it's disabled. That only allows the instructor to be able to to download those videos. But we can go into Panopto and edit to allow students to be able to record those settings or to download those sessions. But by default, it's off. But if that's something that you want your students to do, we can definitely go ahead and enable that for you. Let's see, is it easier to have the sign language integrated than Integrity? With that one, we would have to check. It should be able to, because we can now have multiple sources within Panopto. So that gives the students more flexibility as far as what views that they wanted to use. But we would have to go ahead and double check as far as how that video is going to be integrated, if that's something that's done live or afterwards, because I'm not too sure on how that works currently. But we can look at your current setup with Integrity to see how we can migrate that over into Panopto. But overall, it's much easier to use in adding additional video clips. So let's say if the sign language is done afterwards, after you record the lecture, that one it would be, because we can just add that as a separate stream within Panopto, and then the student would have the ability to turn that on. Can we default each recording with a copyright notice? That one, we would have to check on that. I'm not sure if we can do that per video. I think there's a setting we might be able to do that as an institution, but per video, I'm not sure. One option that would be around that is that we can create a generic copyright, let's say 5-second video that we can just add at the beginning of your Integrity video, or sorry, of your Panopto video, that easily just gets inserted. But I'm not too sure on that. We'll have to double check on that. And it says, will the lecture halls be set up including appropriate microphones? So as far as on our end, it's with the software. So requests have already been sent out to IT as far as having all of the podiums across all of the classrooms installed with the Panopto software. As far as the appropriate microphones, we would have to go ahead and check with IT on that, since they're the department that oversees the specific classroom technology that's within all of the classrooms. Let's see, are there any other questions? I think that was the last ones that we had. Good questions so far. Let's see. I'm not seeing any other questions coming in, but if you're typing, still go ahead and type in your questions. That was all that we had to cover for today's presentation on Panopto Basics. We will be having a few more upcoming webinars. The next webinar that we'll be having will be another Panopto Basics session. And that one is actually going to be done by one of the trainers with Panopto. That one is scheduled, I believe, on May 23rd at 3 o'clock. And then the next session after that one will be a Panopto Advanced Training. That one will also be conducted by one of the trainers at Panopto, and that one is scheduled for May 30th. All of those are available on the training portal for you to go ahead and register if you're interested in taking those. Let's see, there's more questions. You said we have to check a box for auto captioning. Yes, so when you want to go ahead and add an auto captioning within your video, that is something that you would have to do manually to add that in there. So you would go into edit, and then under captions, you'll see import captions and then import automatic captions. From there, you can go ahead and import automatic captions, and then it's going to go ahead and preload all of the transcript. At that point, you would then be able to go back and review your video, double check as far as the wording to make sure it's correct, the spelling, things like that. But that is something that has to be manually added in there. And part of the reason for that is that it allows you as an instructor to verify that content before releasing it out to the students. Because the last thing we would want to do is automatically put it in captions and that be released to the students and then they're completely off, or words are misspelled, or words are out of place. So that's part of the reason why automatic captions have to be added by the instructor first. Let's see, in order to auto captioning of videos to happen, does an option need to be selected or is it automatic? So the process for indexing and identifying the captions, that's done automatically. The ability to release them to the students, that's the manual process that has to take place. But as far as you go ahead and start recording and start talking, all of that information is automatically going to get recorded. And those captions will be automatically added and created through the background. And then once you're ready, those will be added to the course. And are you training students as well? Right now, we have not began doing any student webinars. We've been focusing primarily on faculty. That way we can get all of the faculty aware of the transition that's occurring and to prepare for the fall semester. But the plan is to go ahead and to have student training documentation, training videos. That way we can get them up to speed as far as how to do the new student recordings and things like that. So that is definitely on our to-do list to go ahead and have training material and training documentation for our students. Let's see if there's any other questions. You're welcome. Okay. So like I said before, you still have other questions, feel free to type them in the chat. That's pretty much all we had scheduled for today to include. Like I mentioned, it is going to be recorded. So once Zoom analyzes and processes that video, I'll go ahead and send out that information, as well as some of the links to our website that contains additional documentation, the links to Panopto. That way you can see some of their more in-depth documentation and video tutorials. Like we mentioned, it's a new tool. We're excited to have it. There's a lot of neat things. So if you have any questions, if you have cool ideas that you're wondering if Panopto can do it, go ahead and reach out to our office. If you're teaching online or hybrid, you can reach out to your instructional designer. And we're very excited to be working with this. So if there are no further questions, thank you all for attending today's session. And then I'll stick around if any of you have some additional questions that I can go ahead and answer for you.